architects have a very unique role to play in the nation building. We deal with intangibles while we deal with the technicalities and other aspects of the development. And that is what I like to talk about when we discuss in the panel discussions, and I'm sure it will be having some bearing on the future planning of the infrastructure, particularly the housing. I have an issue with the word housing, which I'll deal with during the session. Namaskar. As architects, we are trained to design homes, not houses. And that is what I was trying to say when I said I have a problem with the word housing. Housing is something which has to be dealt with much more care and sensitivity so that we provide a home. Mankind has three basic needs: food, shelter, and clothing. Food, clothing, and shelter in that order. We are still struggling with the issue of food as yet. Though we don't have as many hungry people as we used to have 50 years back, 20 years back, or even 10 years back, but then the problem still persists. We have to sell rice as 2 rupees a kg, and all kinds of schemes have to be there so that the people at the bottom of the pyramid have at least a reasonable amount of nutrition available to them. May not be adequate. Cloth, somehow we are pretty comfortable as I see it. In the times of disasters and all, earlier on we used to send our used clothes and all that, and they were picked up. Today, you don't find them being picked up by people. They just leave on the site only. Housing, again, though a lot of work has been done, but with little sensitivity. And that's where my profession has a role to play. There are few problems, fundamental problems, which have to be addressed. First is the mindset. When we talk of EWS, LIG, MIG, HIG, the whole society has been divided vertically in these 4 or 5 sections, I am a product of a time where we used to live together. In my small gully, all sections of the societies were the richest, the educated, the papadwala, you name a small time, tailor master who used to stitch cloths on the street, and army people, and so on. And the kind of culture in which we have grown has been very composite and inclusive. But with our planning efforts, what we have done is we have divided the society into poor, very poor, middle income. The whole concept is somehow very distasteful. So, first is that. Second, whatever we are doing for the lower end of the pyramid, even the choices in giving names to their colonies is very bad. Take the examples of Delhi. We have Khichadipurs. The kind of name, Seva Nagar. For a higher end society, will have Sundar Nagar. But for the lower end, Seva Nagar. Right in the middle of the seat of the power. This mindset has to change. People should feel attached to the products we are giving to them, to the facilities we are giving to them. They should feel that they are being done. Providing housing has been taken as a scheme of charity for the poor. It should be a matter of responsibility of the people who are dealing with these issues. We are not doing charity when we do, housing for the poor. In fact, we do it in our own interest. Then what we do is place of work and place of living has to be close. We started with programs like slum clearance. As if some animals are living in the town, they have to be thrown out of the city like monkeys, 50 kilometers away from the town. There should be no smell of them in the heart of the city. That's not possible. We all need each other. The Seva people, these people living in Seva Nagar, I mean, whom are they serving? If I have people serving me 50 kilometers away, how are they going to work? So this place of work and place of living has to be addressed. So, though there are programs now, Prime Minister has said we will provide accommodation where they are living. The displacement of the population is not viewed very positively these days. That's better. But much more conscious effort has to be put in place. So therefore, right from the conceptualization, see, there is one part where there is a requirement of a vision. That is what the political leadership gives. They have a vision that housing for all, let's say, in 3 years' time, 5 years' time, whatever. But how to conceptualize that vision? It is at that stage where our community, the architects, the engineers, the planners, the urban planners, and various other stakeholders have to put their heads together so that what we produce as housing stock becomes home for the people. It brings happiness. Only 2 years back we had a seminar, Arcacia level seminar. The theme I kept consciously, happiness through architecture. It should not just remain, giving a 25 square meter shed or a shelter, whatever name we may like to call it. That's not enough. Then when we plan, what is missing in that is, today, why are we giving house to somebody? To improve his life. The moment that begins to happen, there is an incremental requirement of spaces. Our plans and our regulations do not permit that. If I give in a 25 square meter house or a shelter to somebody, it must remain 25 square meters always. Laws are there. Any infringement of that bylaw is going to be problematic for him. So, incremental approach to adding space to the space given to the user is very important. The family grows, the business grows, and all kinds of things happen. It cannot be, even if you buy a high-end house, HIG housing, you buy a flat for 1 crore rupees, you still spend 20-25 lakhs rupees for its interiors. You do a lot of changes, It's a very personalized thing. It cannot be something like, you have purchased a car and you have to drive it. Even in that, you put accessories. And if the system doesn't permit that, it becomes problematic again. So therefore, my fundamental problem with the words, housing, shelter and all, we should create homes which bring happiness to our people. We should feel part of each other. We should do it as a matter of responsibility. And various other things have been talked about. Education is important because we don't have right kind of people. My community is very small. 1 lakh is the registration number, approximately 1 lakh. For a country of 130 crore, only less than 1 lakh architects. out of which practicing architects may not be about more than 10, 12,000. Some of them are serving, some of them are no more, and so on. So, lot of work has to be done on education, and then the quality of education, so that people do become sensitive to the needs of the people. It's not business. When we are dealing with these issues, it's not just business. Of course, everything that is done has to be profitable, but that profitability cannot be the goal. It is an outcome of what you do. It is a resultant. But when we are dealing with these basic needs, these are obligations of the nation to our people. How we can put our heads together to make life happier for our people, that is the thing which we need to do. That is for what our nation has given us this great opportunity, to this access to education, access to the better things in life, access to the ability to talk big things, For one person like me standing over here, there are thousands who are equally or more capable than me, who could have been here, but they did not have that opportunity only because of their chance of birth, place of birth, and so on and so forth. We should be sensitive to this. A great responsibility is on our shoulders. The university education does not prepare us to indulge only in serving our own interests. It's a huge responsibility and a very wonderful responsibility, likable responsibility. One must enjoy this responsibility, and with that, if we do our part in the creation of these infrastructure requirements, particularly housing and other such things, I think we will be doing our job as is expected out of us. As I said, we deal with intangibles. As architects, we talk about philosophy, we talk about intangible inputs that go into the construction industry, and therefore it is difficult for people to assess in quantifiable terms what is it that we will contribute. But I can assure you, my profession, through its education and training, is best suited to perform that role. And I represent my institute, professional institute, the Indian Institute of Architects, and on behalf of the Indian Institute of Architects and its 22 chapters across the country and more than 60 centers across the country, do commit here on this stage that we, the architects, and our associate planners, urban planners, landscape architects, we are all part of the same family, are more than willing to do our best to ensure that through our work we bring happiness. It's not just numbers that housing for all. I like to say happiness for all through our intervention in the program of housing for all by 2022. Thank you very much. With these few words, I conclude. Thank you.